My name is Ababa Nagash. I approve the following read out loud, and thank you for listening. Please listen to it to the end.
The strategic necessity of a unilateral ceasefire, February 2026. To the leadership of the Amhara Fano National Movement, AFNM, and the warriors in the field, we recognize that a soldier's instinct is to strike. But we are at a moment where the wisdom of the serpent must outweigh the fire of the gun. We strongly recommend that Fano forces and leaders declare an immediate, unilateral ceasefire for two existential reasons. To unmask the sovereignty trap. The federal government is currently using the pursuit of maritime access and Red Sea sovereignty as a national rallying cry. They have branded Fano as an obstacle to this historical mission. The strategy, by declaring a unilateral ceasefire and offering a safe path for federal troops to march north, Fano removes the government's excuse. If Fano stops fighting and the federal drones continue to strike Amhara villages, the government's rhetoric of sovereignty is exposed as a lie. It proves to the 130 million Ethiopians and the international community that the government's true mission is not sea access, but the systematic destruction of the Amhara people. This move shifts the moral high ground entirely to Fano. 2. To provide breathing room for the 60 million. Our people, the 30 million Amharas and the 60 million Orthodox Christians, are in a state of strategic exhaustion. You cannot lead a dull and war-ravaged population into a sustainable future without a pause. The strategy, a ceasefire, is not a surrender. It is a humanitarian Sabbath. It allows the farmers to return to the plow, the markets to reopen, and the CBE banks and internet services to be restored. It gives Fano the time to reconstruct and consult. This breathing room allows a fragmented and traumatized society to reorganize into a singular, unified political force. By stopping the grinder of war, you save the lives of the youth who would otherwise be a conflict that only benefits the predators in the north. Conclusion: the choice of the wise. We have seen the ghosts of the EPRP and Maizen. They died because they couldn't see the traps of their partners. Fano must be smarter. By declaring this ceasefire, you are not laying down your arms, you are picking up the shield of statesmanship. You are letting the predators, TPLF/EPLF/federal, deal with their own complexities while you build a fortified, peaceful, and sovereign Amhara heartland. We want peace and no more. We want the 30 million to breathe. We want the 60 million to be safe. This is our third way. The manifesto of the 60 million, sovereignty, survival, and the trap of the vanished. The awakening, why we speak now. To the 30 million Amharas and the 60 million Orthodox Christians, those of you standing on the front lines, and those of you living in the quiet fear of the cities, hear this truth. We are in the middle of a strategic pincer movement designed to ensure we never rise again. For years, we have been told that our dullness is the problem, but the truth is we have been exhausted by a cycle of betrayal that repeats every generation. We are currently being squeezed by three predators: the federal government, Prosperity Party, the TPLF, Semido, and the EPLF, Shibia. Each offers us a hand of friendship that hides a dagger. We must look at the telltale signs before our current leaders are vanished like the giants who came before them. The ghost of alliances past, the lesson of the EPRP and EDU. History is not just a story, it is a blueprint. In the 1970s, the EPRP was the heartbeat of Ethiopia. They were millions. They were the intellectuals, the students, and the urban youth. They had a national vision that transcended ethnicity, but they were politically innocent. They entered into a landscape of ruthless guerrilla fronts, TPLF and EPLF, who viewed a national, unified Ethiopia as a threat to their ethnic agendas. The TPLF and EPLF used the EPRP to weaken the central government, but once the common enemy was distracted, they turned their guns on the EPRP. They didn't just defeat them, they cleansed them from the mountains of Tigray and the plains of Gondar. Why? Because the TPLF manifesto cannot tolerate a rival with a national heart. Similarly, the EDU represented the traditional military and conservative weight of the Amhara and northern elite. They had the guns and the pedigree, but they lacked the serpent's wisdom. They were outmaneuvered by the guerrilla fronts who were masters of elimination politics. When these organizations died, their agendas for a stable, unified Ethiopia died with them, paving the way for 27 years of ethnic apartheid. When 60 million people lose their leaders, they lose their future. The Meisenberg Blueprint, the ultimate warning. We must now look at the most chilling parallel to our current situation, the Meisen and Derg alliance. This is the mirror in which every Fano leader and every Amhara intellectual must look today. In 1974, when the Derg seized power, they were a group of soldiers with no ideology. Meisen, a sophisticated party of intellectuals, saw an opportunity. They believed they could educate the soldiers and steer the revolution from the inside. They joined the government. They took the ministries. They felt powerful. But the Derg leader, Mengistu Haile Mariam, was playing a deeper game. He used Meisen to identify and destroy his primary rival, the EPRP. Meisen intellectuals provided the national legitimacy for the Red Terror. Once the EPRP was crushed, the Derg no longer needed their partners. In August 1977, the Derg turned its guns on Meisen. Their leaders, including Haile Fida, were executed. The organization that thought it was leading from within was vanished in a heartbeat. Today, the Prosperity Party is playing the Derg role. They use the rhetoric of sovereignty and sea access to court Amhara support. They invite you to join the mission to the north. But make no mistake, they're using you to provide national legitimacy for a military machine that is currently striking your own villages with drones. If Fano leaders think they can reform this system from within, they are the new Meisen fuel for a grinder that will eventually turn on them. The TPLF, Semido, trap, the predator in the grass. The TPLF is currently the most dangerous ally being offered to Fano. They are wounded, and a wounded predator is the most cunning. They ask Fano to join forces against the Prosperity Party. They speak of shared suffering. But look at the 2021 march to Debre Sina. When they had the chance, did they treat the Amhara like allies? No. They looted hospitals, executed farmers, and burned the homes of the unsuspecting. Their 1976 manifesto, which labels the Amhara as the historical enemy, has never been revoked. Any Fano leader sitting at a table with Semido without a written guarantee for Welkate and Raya and a complete constitutional overhaul is not a leader. He is a victim in waiting. The EPLF, Shibia, trap, the river of no return. Eritrea is the river. It looks like a path to safety and a source of bullets. But Eritrea's interest is not a strong Amhara. It is a weak, fragmented Ethiopia that can never challenge Eritrean hegemony in the Horn. If Fano becomes 100% dependent on Eritrea for logistics, Fano ceases to be an Ethiopian movement and becomes a proxy. Eritrea will keep Fano alive just enough to bleed the federal government, but they will never let Fano win, because a strong Amhara means a strong Ethiopia. The 10 telltale signs of a leader being vanished. Fano fighters and the 30 million supporters must audit their leaders daily. Watch for these alarms. Secret meetings. Meetings with TPLF or federal agents without a witness from the church or the council of elders. Vague promises, when they stop talking about the return of stolen lands and start talking about national reconciliation without justice. Intel leaks, when your movements are found by drones immediately after a coordination meeting with allies. Language shift, when they start using the Prosperity Party's rhetoric of sovereignty to justify ignoring local massacres. Isolation, when they stop taking the advice of the Orthodox clergy. Sudden wealth, new equipment or money that cannot be traced to the 30 million people. Ignoring the bloody truth, when they tell you to forget the 27 years of oppression for the sake of the current mission. Passive ceasefire, if a ceasefire is used to wait for orders from others, rather than to reconstruct the Amhara region. Fear of history, when they don't want the fighters to learn about the fate of the EPRP or Meisen. The hero complex, when they start believing they are the saviors and forget they are the shields of the people. The path forward, strategic peace and armed vigilance. We are not begging for peace. We are dictating the terms of survival. The federal government is currently obsessed with its sovereignty and sea access mission in the north. We must use this as our golden bridge. By declaring a unilateral ceasefire, Fano does not surrender. It vacates the killing field. We let the federal troops march to the north. We give them no excuse to keep their drones and tanks in Gajam, Gondar, and Wallo. If they are truly seeking maritime access, let them go and find it. During this breathing room, we must reconstruct, rebuild the markets, the schools, and the churches destroyed by the grinder. Consult. Use the time to unite the 30 million into a single political voice. Solidarity. Reach out to the non-TP left Tigrayans and the non-EP left Eritreans. Tell them, we are not your enemies. We are all victims of the same predators. Let us build a people's peace. Conclusion. The promise of the 60 million. To the fighters, your moral compass is your greatest weapon. Do not strike the marching federal forces in the back. Show the world that Fano is a disciplined vanguard, not a reactive militia. Your restraint today is your victory tomorrow. To the 30 million and the 60 million, your dullness ends today. Knowledge is the cure for exhaustion. We are the survivors of 1991, of 2021, and we will be the architects of 2026. We want peace and no more. We want dignity and nothing less. Stand ready. Stand conscious. Stand as one. Thank you for listening to the voice of Ethiopian Hearts for Peace and African Hearts for Peace. This is not just a video, it is a blueprint for our survival. If you believe in this third way, if you believe the Amhara and the Orthodox community deserve to breathe, share this message with every Fano fighter, every priest, and every mother in our land. Let our leaders know that we are watching. Let the world know we have chosen the wisdom of the serpent to protect the sanctity of life. Stand ready. Stand conscious. Stand for peace.
Thank you.
Peace.